Greetings, 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 friends. I'm going to talk about the army that I ran just this weekend on launch day using Gladius Task Force. I did just finish a video where we talked about the Sons of Sanguinius Detachment Force. I guess they're just called Sons of Sanguinius. These are very cool, double-sided cards you can print for yourself. The other YouTube channel that I watch, Plus One to Hit, made these. He's done it for like every army. He's done it for all the data cards as well. If you want to grab this link to print these out for yourself, save yourself like 25 bucks. Just head over to my community tab. They're there right now. Without any further ado, we're going to talk about this and we're going to look in the new Games Workshop app. Let's dive in. Alright, hello friends. Yes, Gladius Detachment felt very flexible when I played it. It was arguably potentially my favorite of the two detachments. I said at the end of my last video that I feel like I should be. My heart tells me Sons of Sanguinius. My head tells me Gladius Detachment. If you didn't see that other video, you should definitely check out. There's a couple of things I was saying. One of the things that I was finishing that other video once saying was Dante still gives you +1 to charge, +1 to hit. With Gladius Detachment, you can fall back and charge in one turn using the Tactical Doctrine, and you can advance and charge in one turn using the Assault Doctrine. You can also pay 1 CP at any point to put a single unit into those doctrines. So if you needed your Dante-led unit to get very far across the battlefield, then even if you roll a 1 in your advance, you're getting 14 inches. So if you roll a 6 in your advance, you're getting 19 inches. Yeah, 12 plus 3 plus 1, yeah, 19 inches. Before you charge. You can also fall back and charge. If we talk about Vanguard, loads of Infernal Pistols. You talk about Death Company, if they've got Chaplain, loads of Infernal Pistols. Fall back and charge. Very, very useful. I'm convinced that this detachment is actually really good for Blood Angels. And I'm going to play it again this week. I'm going to be playing both for the next little while, but this time I'm going to play it again next week. For the moment, if you haven't downloaded the Games Workshop app, here it is. I'm mirroring on my screen. Last video, I talked about all the units that I built in my first Sons of Sanguinius list. This time, I'm going to talk about all the units that I'm putting, that I played in my Gladius list, and what I liked about it, and what I didn't like about it, and all the things that I've seen that I could potentially do with it. So that is a lot to talk, that's a mouthful. Anyway, if you do get some value out of this video at any point, please consider hitting the like button. If you're new to the Blood Angels Commander channel, then please do subscribe. Every week I'm here to talk tactics and make you a better Blood Angels player. And last but not least, it's super important, if you want to support the channel, the best way you can do that is by becoming a channel member, either here on YouTube, via the big join button underneath my videos, or on Patreon. I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone that supports the channel, but channel members, you have a special place in my heart. Thank you so much for supporting me. Do really appreciate it. Okay, let's get into this list. So I started this list with a captain on a jump pack, and a captain on a jump pack, part of me was thinking like you should run a storm shield on a captain on a jump pack, right? Because the storm shield will give him, or a relic shield will give him an extra wound. If he's attached to a big squad of guys, having 1 extra wound kind of feels pointless. I mean, maybe if he gets sniped, 1 extra wound would be helpful. But overall, I felt like I wasn't sure. I think it might be better to run this guy with an Infernal Pistol. I just have a lot of Smash Captains from back of the day armed with basically Thunder Hammers. And it was Storm Shields. I guess now they're called Relic Shields, like I said. So, Captain with a jump pack, Storm Shield, Thunder Hammer. The cool thing about the captain with the jump pack is his leader abilities. Wherever they are, he obviously has +1 to the strength characteristics of any model that's attached when they charge, and once per battle you can use a stratagem on him for 0 CP. And there's 2 stratagems that really stand out to me. If we were talking about the Sons of Sanguinius detachment, it would be Red Rampage and the Only in Death is Duty End, which is Fight on Death. And Fight on Death normally costs 2, so getting it for 0 is very good. If you're using Gladius, then Only in Death is Duty End is still 2 CP, so getting it again for 0 is very good. But Honor of the Chapter is really good. Honor of the Chapter is +1 to wound. And it's also +1 to the AP of your weaponry if you are not in, sorry, if you are in Assault Doctrine. Remembering you can do adaptive strategy to put any unit into Assault Doctrine for 1 CP as well. So later in the game, if you've got CP to burn, you can 100% put that unit into Assault Doctrine just for the 1 extra AP. What's important to note though, and I just noticed this right this second, Honor the Chapters until the end of the phase, melee attacks equipped by this model and unit have the Lance ability. That is +1 to wound when you charge. So while the Blood Angels detachment gives you lethal hits, a bunch of stuff already gives lethal hits, right? Like Vanguard veterans give lethal hits. Lamarta's attached to Death Company, and a lot of people were thinking Lamarta's would be really useful to attach to Death Company, already gets lethal hits. So I guess there's a question mark there, for me anyway. I think that Rites of Battle is really strong. I think I'm possibly more leaning towards attaching a captain with a jump pack to Sanguinary Guard over attaching like Dante to Sanguinary Guard. I think Dante's really good. I talked about this last video, but I think I might attach him to something else like Van Vets. There's only so much you can attach to. Van Vets being one of them, the Sanguinary Guard being another one. I think Assault Squads are the only other thing you can attach to. Anyway, Captain with a jump pack, 0 CP fight on death, 0 CP Honor the Chapter, I think are both really good. So I attached that Captain the jump pack to 10 Vanguard veteran squads. 10 Vanguard veteran Marines squad. It's a squad with 10 Vanguard veterans with jump packs. And they obviously now have heirloom weapons, which is just strength 5, -1 damage. The Captain attached means basically when they charge, it's strength 6. The ability of the Vanguard veterans is they're getting lethal hits anyway. So 6s are auto wounds, strength 6, -1. Bear in mind, Honor of the Chapter will give them -2. And then I put the whole squad with Storm Shields. So 10 Storm Shields, so 4 up in buns. Try and make this squad tanky. I also threw in the Sanguinary Priest to this squad. So this squad was an expensive squad. 260 plus 110 plus 100. Essentially that becomes like a 470 point squad, but if you take Dante plus 5 Sanguinary Guard, that's 350. And I would say, based on my experience, this squad was way more survivable. Remember, the Sanguinary Priest is going to give all models a 5 up Feel No Pain, so I have a 4 up in Vun and a 5 up Feel No Pain. I also improve all my AP by 1, meaning that I'm strength 6 -2. If I am ever an Assault Doctor and I use Honor the Chapter, then I'm -3, and I actually really like that. You could also maybe do this with Assault Marines to be even cheaper, and you could have Assault Marines with lethal hits, same as Vanguard Veterans, and you could have -3 Chainswords. I felt like that was really good. So I've got my Priest there with the jump pack attached to the Captain, attached to the 10 Vanguard Vets. There's a big block of stuff. If I need to get advance and charge on them, I can do that for 1 CP. If I need to fall back and charge, I can do that for 1 CP. On top of, once per battle round, I can pick the correct doctrine that I think I need, right? And I can also potentially fight on death for free as well. The other interesting thing about Gladius, that the Blood Angels one just doesn't have squad tactics. So in your opponent's movement phase, after they've done a normal move, an advanced move, or a fallback, one infantry or mounted unit from your army that is within 9 inches of the enemy can now make a normal move of up to D6 inches, or normal move up to 6 inches if you're in the tactical doctrine. You cannot select a unit that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Now, this is really interesting in that the enemy could move to shoot your unit, and then you can just, i.e., maybe you've got them all 1 inch outside of cover, you can just go, roll your d6. Or if you're in Tactical Doctrine is the one in which you can fall back and charge. You can just jump back into the cover and be like, now you can't see me, so you can't shoot me. 1 CP on squad tactics as well. I think that, you could use this so many ways, right? The enemy are falling back from you. They've got 1 or 2 models left. Then you could just be like, right, I'm just going to use squad tactics. And, maybe they're trying to fall back so they hold the objective or something like that. You could just use squad tactics and move 4 more guys onto the objective. I think this is cool. Again, Gladius Detachment it feels very like a very, very strong detachment. Next up, I'm going to talk about the Sanguinor. I think the Sanguinor is great. I think there's a couple of things we can say about him. Obviously, he has the ability to arrive from deep strike, fighting first, and basically you can units within 6 inches can reroll battle shock tests when they're next to the Sanguinor. So the enemy charge you, he arrives, and he gets to fight first, even though they made the charge move. He also has precision, or he can get precision on his weapon. Sorry, I thought he had precision. He can get precision on his weapon, but he has 8 attacks hitting on 2s, and he's got devastating wounds. So you're going to do at least 2 mortals, and you're probably going to make the enemy take a bunch of saves at -3. I think that, like I said, if the enemy has a weak character here, there's a chance of like bringing him in, paying the 1 CP precision, and just killing. Like, let's say the enemy character only has 4 wounds. You're telling me with 8 attacks hitting on 2s, 6s doing 2 mortals on the wound roll, you couldn't roll a double 6 out of like probably 7 dice, maybe? Like, there's a very good chance that you could just come in, pay the 1 CP precision, assassinate the enemy's character. Before that could be a really buffing character that's really helping their unit. And the other cool thing about him is use rapid ingress. Because he's lone operative, that means that basically if he's out within 12 inches of the enemy, they cannot charge him, right? Because if you bring him in at the end of the enemy's movement phase after they've moved everybody, if you bring him out with 12, so 12.1 inches away, they can't charge him, right? Because they have to declare a target within 12. They also can't shoot him because he's 12.1 and he's lone operative. So, and he moves 12. So arguably, like, you can bring him in your opponent's turn, and then you can basically put him somewhere where he's going to be really threatening and really useful, and they can't shoot him. And they can't charge him. So if there isn't a miraculous savior opportunity, then there is other plays around with the Sanguinor. He has no melee weapon, yes, I guess that's fine. He has 160 points, which if you think about it, is quite a lot based on all the other characters. You know, like Mephistopheles 125, Dante's 130, the Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack's 110. So he's a lot of points, but he does have some play. And potentially stuff like engage on all fronts or some of the other scoring things, if you put him in a board quarter, he's totally safe. Like, there's no way the enemy can target him. So if there's a space, you can bring him down and he's totally safe. I liked him. This list actually had no battle line or dedicated transports in it. So this was a crazy list. But I was testing things. I'm going to be continuing to test things. I feel like I need to probably play every unit a couple of times. The Brutalis Dreadnought felt reasonably decent. Its shooting is fine. Again, multi-meltas feel really weak into armor now, so its shooting felt pretty bad into armor. When it charged, I used tank shock and I used its Brutalis charge ability, and I think I did like 7 mortal wounds to an Armiger, but I still didn't manage to kill Armiger in melee. So even with my melee attacks, I was running the Brutalis Fists, which is basically like 6 attacks, weapon skill 3 up, strength 12, -2, 3 damage. I did not kill Twin Link, so rerolling all wounds. I didn't finish the Armiger off even after doing like 7 mortal wounds to it. So that was kind of surprising. I think Armiger's only 12 wounds. So the thing I noticed about the Dreadnought, and I ran the Brutalis Dreadnought is very expensive at 220, and I think he's going to be quite hard to get into range. Potentially advance and charge helps him. In the one turn I did get into combat, I used advance and charge, and I think I rolled a 1, but regardless. I also ran a Redemptor in this list, and at 225 points, my Redemptor got mortal wounded to death, 12 mortal wounds, instantly killing him. I didn't get to roll any dice. -1 damage means nothing when you get 12 mortal wounds put into you. This was against knights. The Redemptor and the Brutalis are crazy. 225 points for the Redemptor, 220 for the Brutalis. The way I look at it is the Brutalis does a bit more damage output. The Redemptor is a bit more survivable. I mean, when you're getting hit with 12 mortal wounds, you're no more survivable. So maybe we should just go double Brutalis and go more glass cannon. The one thing that I felt was the Redemptor's plasma. I thought the plasma was going to be better now, right? Because the plasma is now d6 plus 1. But it turns out, because everything's gone up in toughness, although you've got those additional shots, you're much less likely to wound now. If you think Strength 9 used to wound the most armor on 3s, now you're not really wounding armor until maybe 5s. So the Redemptor felt... I have 3 Redemptors. I love the Redemptors. I don't want to say it felt crap, but like, I just don't think I'm... too expensive, man. Like, it just felt way too expensive. Next up, Centurions. Centurions felt to me too expensive as well for what they're doing. I ran my Centurions with double flamers. I guess I should have probably put Hurricane Bolters on them now, because you used to have to pay points for Hurricane Bolters. I kind of forgot that. I've actually got mine magnetized, the Hurricane Bolters, so I could have put the Hurricane Bolters on. I think... Oh, they have grenades as well. Okay, you can have grenades or you can have Hurricane Bolters. I guess you can probably have both, because... Is it like the Sergeant can take any number of models? Yeah, so you could have grenades and you could have a couple of models. So I could have had a couple of Hurricane Bolters. The drills are twin-linked, which is nice, but you don't get many attacks with the drills anymore. It's just 3 attacks. Yes, you do have sustained hits too on monsters and vehicles. You are toughness 7. You do have 4 wounds per model. Against knights, I would have thought the Centurions, the knights would have been like a great matchup for them, right? Like, they want to kill knights. There's not many marine weapons with damage 3 now. I think they might be the only melee weapons with damage 3. So I was thinking they would possibly be the best. It took my Centurions like 3 rounds of combat to kill one knight. Yes, a couple of them died from like Overwatch and stuff like that. So maybe I need to run Centurions again. 175 points, no invulnerable save. Toughness 7. Yeah. I wasn't super sold on them. Again, I played them in strategic reserve. I think if I was going to run Centurions again, I would run them with Librarian and Dreadnought, because their 4-inch move is tragic. So I think you have to strategic reserve them, or you have to Librarian and Dreadnought them. And then you're trying to make a 9-inch charge, which we know is super unreliable. So I don't really know how you play Centurions, short of maybe just teleporting them to the middle objective and go, haha, I have 3 Centurions in the middle. But then, like, they have no invulnerable save, and they have no protection against mortal wounds. So I'm not really sure how you play Centurions. Next up, I used the Death Company Dreadnought. And the Death Company Dreadnought was kind of a very useful model. He can obviously fight multiple times, and in being able to fight multiple times meant he gets that 7-inch charge from Deep Strike because of the Magna Grapple if you go after monsters or vehicles. He seemed really useful in terms of like his damage output. The ability to fight twice, the ability to get extra movement. The cool thing about him in the Blood Angels detachment, which I wasn't playing in this list, was that you can increase his consolidation and movement for 1 CP in the Blood Angels detachment from aggressive onslaught to 6 inches, and then potentially you could like consolidate into multiple units, and if those units can't kill him, he can fight multiple times. He gets to reroll all his hits, he gets to reroll all his wounds. His melee is pretty good, right? Like with the Talons, he's strength 8 minus 2, 3. With the Fists, I kept the Fists because I wanted him to be able to deal with armor. In Blood Angels, he's getting +1 on the charge. So in this list, it was just 5 attacks hit on 3s, strength 12 minus 3, 3. But essentially, he's going to get to fight twice, because the second the Armiger attacks him back, he can fight again. So it's 10 attacks with the Fists on strength 12. I think 10 attacks on strength 12 is better than 14 on strength 8. Even with the rerolls, I think it's probably more statistically likely to do more. And also the Fists have more AP, so AP is, against Armigers, for example, AP is really good. So I ran mine with double heavy flamer. I've had that for a few editions. My thought always was that the Dreadnought wants to flame anyone that gets close to him. I'm not sure if that's the best option now, but overall, I feel like the Death Company Dreadnought, like, everything about his combat, his movement, his easier charges was good. The problem is his OC sucks, right? So I think if you want to run this guy, and I think I do want to run him, feel like you need a chaplain somewhere in your list, and ideally the chaplain needs to be within 12 inches of where he's finishing, because if this guy comes in from the edge of the board, kills something on an objective, or does a bunch of damage to it, then it fights back, and then he kills it, then you don't flip the objective because he's OC 0. So it's like, he's expensive as well. He's 195 points, so I suppose there is an argument to be said, like, once you've killed what you're trying to kill, he's not surviving. So 195 points is maybe not the main issue here. Or sorry, OC 0 is maybe not the main issue here because he's probably going to die anyway. But yeah, so cool that he kills stuff. I just don't know how you play him because he's OC 0. I guess you can missile into something that you don't care about as much, or missile into something that's not on an objective. But if he's coming in from reserve, usually the play there is to flip objectives, right? You want to come in from a unit from reserve and flip objectives. And I guess he doesn't do that. So I'm confused. Or maybe not confused. Maybe I just need to just man up and start running a chaplain, right? Like, run the chaplain. That's what he needs. Alright, next up is our hot take at the moment, the Desolation Squad. So in this case, I ran 10 of them. So you get 9 Super Crack, 9 Castellan, and then the Sergeant with the Vanguard launcher. I attach to them the Primaris Apothecary, which means I will bring basically 1 back to life every turn. If in some reason the whole squad gets killed on a 2-up, I'll get command point. I guess that's very unlikely to happen. But I attach to the Apothecary the enhancement Bolter Discipline, which means while the bearer is leading unit, ranged hits have sustained hits 1, which basically means like every time I roll a 6 to hit, I burst an additional hit. While I'm in the Devastator Doctrine, I also burst on 5s. So with all that indirect fire, which I guess in this case is quite a bit, it would be like 10 of those Castellan launchers. So D3, so average 2 shots per guy, so 20 shots. Put them on Oath of Moment target. Basically means I reroll all hits, hitting on 3s, and on 5+ I burst additional hits. So basically, I should get like 26, maybe even 30 hits if I use Oath of Moment. If I shoot something that has 10 models, as in like a blast target, then it will be 50 hits, because I'll get +2 per guy on top of the 30. Those extra shots will burst, so actually it's possibly even more, like 55 hits or something, then reroll all wounds. There is a strat you can play called Storm of Fire for 1 CP in the Gladius Detachment, which means I can improve the armor penetration for the squad while I'm in Devastator Doctrine by 1. So these guys are going to get 55 indirect. When, strength 4, no AP, or 1 AP if I'm Devastator Doctrine. And then you do have to factor in that you can also get 9 Super Crack missiles against a different target, or against the same target with the full rerolls. I think combined with the Librarian Dreadnought to move these guys around, potentially get plunging fire, I guess, if you put them up high and all sorts of stuff. There's definitely some plays around the Desolation squads. I think it's probably best to run 1 big squad with the Apothecary, and then the enhancement and the buffs on that big squad, but I haven't quite... There could be play around like 3 squads of 5 without any buffs. I think they're still pretty good. Desolation Marines are very cheaply costed. I think the problem people are having at the moment is that you can overwatch without being able to see them as well. So if the enemy move within 24 inches of these guys, then you could instantly just overwatch. You don't need to see them. And it's a lot of shots potentially bursting on the sustained hits, I guess. So yeah, Desolation Marines, I played them in 2 games. I liked them in both games. I'm going to play them again. They worked really well in Gladius Detachment. They work reasonably well in the Blood Angels Detachment. I also run the Lancer. The cool thing about the Lancer is that basically with its main cannon, which is 2 shots, strength 14 -4, d6 +3. I was expecting this to do more against the Knights. I guess he saved the few shots that went through. This could have swung the other way, though. You can reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage. So 2 hits, rerolling 1, 2 wounds, rerolling 1, 2 damage, rerolling 1. If you're shooting something that doesn't have an invuln, this is -4. which is very good. You can also, again, you could Storm of Fire this so it can ignore cover and go -5, which basically means unless they have an invuln, there will be no save. And I like the Lancer a lot. I think it's reasonably well costed. 45 points. It's got a rocket pod, it's got a stubber, it's got a couple of storm bolters. I think that's kind of irrelevant. It does have the ability to place smoke. Unless they removed smoke, no, they kept the smoke. So this one did get to keep the smoke, unlike the Librarian Dreadnought that shows smoke launchers on the picture but doesn't have the smoke keyword. I've run Incursors as well. That was one of my last units. I never got to play the Incursor squads much in either game. They got killed pretty quickly. I think Incursors are still going to be pretty useful. Maybe less useful now because they're not battle line. But maybe, yeah, for me, maybe less useful. I'm gonna have to figure out if Incursors are still definitely the unit to be run. Intercessors at 5 more points of sticky objectives. There's an argument to be said. The thing is, if you've got the Librarian and Dreadnought to move your troops around, maybe you don't need the pre-game move from the Incursors. Maybe you can use Intercessors and just... It would be weird to be using Librarian and Dreadnought to just move troops around to score points, but points do win games, so maybe there's something to be said about that. So that was... And this was a crazy weird list, and this was a list to experiment with, basically to try out units that I haven't tried before. Overall, I like this list probably a little bit less than the Sons of Sanguinius list that I talked about earlier in the week. The main thing I didn't like is the Dreadnoughts. I feel like the Brutalis and the Redemptor are too expensive to run into the current meta armies. So I played my list against Eldar and Knights, and those units just felt like they weren't deadweight, but they neither performed really well. Maybe those armies are just too strong for them to deal with, which is a pity because I do like those Redemptor style Dreadnought chassis. Part of me thinks maybe I should just run a Contemptor because of 2-up revive and the 5-up invuln, but then there was a lot of mortals that killed. There was a lot of mortals that killed one of them. I think the other was it Tank Shock. I think it might have been mortals that killed both of them actually. I thought they said there was less mortals in 9th edition or 40 in 10th edition. There's mortals everywhere. It's very difficult. So yeah, I've got loads more. Like I'm gonna make a new Gladius list probably tomorrow. I don't know exactly when that video is going to come out, but I'm going to be playing Death Guard this week, so I'm going to continue to build lists. I'm going to continue to get games. I'm going to continue to try units, and sometime in the next month or something, I will have like a really strong list. I think I'm a few steps away from that. Please leave comments down below on what you think. If you haven't downloaded the new app, then grab it. It seems a million times better than the old app. It takes a little bit of a while to get used to, but it is cool. If you haven't printed out your own booklets, then check out my community tab because there's places there where you can print out your own booklets. I like having these little booklets rather than paying $25 for the cards or whatever. I'm going to print out some data sheets next as well. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I do appreciate it. As I said before, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the Blood Angel Commander or like this video if you felt like you got some value. I have been John, and I will catch you. I'm sure I'll catch you soon. 10th edition content train is flowing now. We are almost at 75,000 views on the channel in a single month. That will be my best month ever. So if you have time now, having finished this video, there is a 10th edition playlist on my channel with all the 10th edition content and videos I've done. If you could find one more video and watch it for me and help me hit 75,000 views in a month, I would love that so much. Have a great day. Thanks again. And I'll catch you in the next one. By the blood army made strong, brothers. Peace.